be able to walk back in here and get going with the team and after this offseason and be back.
It's been great. It's been exciting the entire offseason, really having players in and out and getting a head start on some of the things that we want to implement, but more than anything, a head start on building relationships. So it's been great. We've had 2 really good days, competitive days. We're doing our best from a coaching perspective of trying to put them in positions to be successful and build our rotations. Thank you.
Seb, what have you tried to emphasize? What has been the key talking points throughout the first couple of days and really throughout this week?
Well, I think the first emphasis is defense, really, and making sure that we understand the expectation on that end of the floor and how we want to play, the physicality with which we want to play, the mindset, how we want to be on the defensive end of the floor. And then I think offensively, it's just being creative, learning how to make plays. It's understanding that you can be in any position on the floor. That we want to be truly positionless, and then how do we put one another in position to be successful? What actions benefit your teammates the best? And then learning how to play, making mistakes and self-correcting when we are making those mistakes in live action.
You said this weekend that this is the most talented roster you've seen in the W history. What do you see? What makes it that?
It's the most talented roster I've been a part of.
You've been a guy.
I've been a part of.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I wouldn't say in W history. There have been some pretty talented ones. As far as the teams that I've coached in the W, it's the deepest, most talented roster that I've really been part of. I mean, we've had teams where we've had, 2 or 3 that can really play, and then you surround them with a lot of great role players. But I think as far as, you look at the depth of this roster and the opportunity to play with a lot of different lineups and play a lot of different ways. And so, again, for us as coaches, it's how quickly can we build rotation, how quickly can we find out strengths and weaknesses of who can play well together, and the different types of ways that we can play on both ends.
Stephanie, what you use the word grace in the huddle at the end, right?
Yeah.
How do you kind of give everybody the balance between staying intense but just taking a breath here in these first few days as you learn each other?
Well, I think one thing is any of us who have been around for a long time understand that player-led teams are the best-led teams, right? And the ability to hold one another accountable, to be held accountable, and yet give grace when we know that we're going through all these changes. I mean, we have 5 returning players. Everybody else is new. We want to be able to give grace through our process of accountability, to understand that we're growing. Like we're not anywhere near where we're going to be when it comes time for the playoffs. And every single day we've got to grow through some uncomfortable things. And so to hold one another accountable, to hold yourself accountable, to be held accountable, but also to give grace throughout this process and understand that we are learning as we go.
What's it been like? Be a little uncomfortable to know that it's working, perhaps?
It has to be uncomfortable. Winning is uncomfortable. It's hard, and so we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. We have to be able to keep our focus on where we want to be, but also understand that it's not linear, right? That it's not linear.
You've seen Caitlin play a lot, but what's it been like to just pick her brain? And also to your point about grace and competitiveness, she walks that line probably in a bigger spotlight than most people.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, one of the things that, I knew about her from afar, but just seeing it on a daily basis is the way she works. I mean, we talk about work ethic a lot, but work style is another thing. And she doesn't waste reps. She literally does embody the how you do anything is how you do everything, whether it's a ball handling drill, or a shooting drill, or setting screens. I mean, she approaches it with such a discipline that she doesn't waste time, and I appreciate that. And so it's been nice and refreshing being in the gym with her.
And then to piggyback off of that, with that talent you have around her, obviously a lot of veterans with championship experience, how much do you think just knowing what it takes to win will help elevate the entire roster?
And that's huge. I think I've said it probably ad nauseum, like they don't know what they don't know. Right, and nobody does. Life is a great learning experience for all of us. But having players who have been in here who have won championships, on the sideline and in the locker room with them. I mean, Tasha Howard's won 3. I certainly think Sid Colston has won 2, and DB's won championships. Breon January and Karima Christmas have won championships. So having those players alongside her that can help guide and understand what it takes on a daily basis, what it takes on a play-to-play basis, whether it's something as simple as letting a call go or letting a play go and moving on to the next, or whether it's something as important as when we're watching film, what are we watching, right? We're not just ball watching, we're watching all the little nuance that comes along with trying to get into our action. We're trying to be in a defensive coverage. So it's really important, and these guys have lived it, and so they're going to be great resources.
Do you find it challenging that you're new, a lot of the roster's new, the front office is new, or is it almost a blank slate in a way that is advantageous for you trying to build something?
I don't know if I'd say it's a blank slate because a lot of us are so familiar. You think about Kelly and myself and Bree and Rima and even Austin, really. I mean, he was one of those practice guys wearing the white jerseys for us for such a long time. So I think it's a different kind of slate, right? It's almost we're in a springboard to where we want to get to. There's a comfort level and understanding expectations, but we're all different than we were, 10 years ago or 9 years ago or however long it was. And Amber's been around, and Amber knows. She's been in a lot of different organizations. She's experienced a lot of different things. So, I think there's a comfort with that, but we're also continuing to challenge one another to get better and to strive for more.
In what ways do you think Caitlin will be a better version of herself just after having 7 months off to take a breath and really be mentally prepared for what's to come this season?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, just the mental and physical break. It is. I don't really admire the college players that have to come from playing a 40-plus game college season to then having to come straight into the W. It's physically grueling, it's mentally taxing. Let alone what Caitlin's had to deal with. I think it was great for her to get a break. I think it was great for her body, her mind, her soul, probably. And then it was great for her to get in the weight room. I think that was one of the first things that she noticed was the physicality in this league is different. And so being able to address getting in the weight room, getting stronger, being able to stay on balance, better, time under tension, all of those things, core stability, all of those things. And then to be able to get in the gym and really hone in on some nuance of her game that's going to help her get to another level.
With Dewana coming in here as a 15-year veteran, just how have you seen that leadership come along really quickly?
DB is vocal. She might not say it in front of the masses, but she certainly is going to bring the team together and bring players off to the side and talk to them about what it takes, about the little things. She's experienced a lot of different things, whether it's been teammates, playing with some of the best in the world, franchises, coaches, all of those things. And so just having her wisdom, having her knowledge, and having her mama bear personality. I mean, it's so important because she understands, how to hold you accountable, but she understands how to love on you too.
How important was it for Caitlin to be in Market with the staff throughout the season? You guys got it and were able to get in the gym, but how beneficial is that? Just being new to each other.
I think it's a huge advantage for us. Certainly because of the way that she can get in not just in the gym to work on her, but to understand what we want in our system. Right, to be able to work with Keith. Keith understands our actions. He understands how we wanted to cover Caitlin, a year ago. So what are some of the things that we would challenge her to work on? And then the expectation of like this is what we're about. Whether it's offensively, defensively, this is how we want to work. I mean, it aligns anyway. She's that type of mentality and that type of player. But to have it reinforced daily, I think was a great advantage, not just to her, but to us.